I decided to do something crazy. I wanted a reason to play through most of the Switch era Pokemon games, so I'm going to shiny hunt every card in a Pokemon TCG booster pack. And yes, this was an enormous undertaking. An Alolan Geodude. Audino! A Comfy. Oh, Centrip. Hops Cramorant. A Maractus. A Chinchino. A Dubwool. Iris's Fighting Spirit. A Paldean Clodsire EX. Now, let's embark on a long journey over 4 games where I'll experience the full range of human emotion and maybe even have some fun along the way. My name is Juniper, and let's shiny hunt some Pokemon. Our first stop is Let's Go Eevee. We'll be looking for Alolan Geodude here, and Let's Go has a very unique method for shiny hunting Alolan Pokemon, but for now I'll keep it a surprise. We begin our journey with the typical fare, meeting our first Pokemon, Topanga the Eevee. After a quick trip to Viridian City and back, we have a tutorial battle with our rival Tucker and can begin our true journey through Kanto. I even catch all the wild Pokemon I see and talk to every NPC along the way, too naive to see the grim truth of what the rest of this challenge would become. My friends and I were discussing potential team themes to make the game more interesting as I was moving through the early routes. I didn't have any plans of doing anything particular for this challenge, but upon reaching Viridian Forest, I'm struck by a moment of inspiration when I see this Pikachu. Let's go Eevee, I think to myself. No. This is a solo Pikachu run now. Plus, look at how cute he is. He's very modest. Everyone give a warm welcome to Cheese. Unfortunately for both me and Cheese, the first gym is Brock, who will cause a world of hurt to us. To save me some trouble, I decided to rely on Topanga for the 2 gym trainers. Then we're off to grind some XP for Cheese to be able to hold his own in the fight with Brock. At level 9, he learns Double Kick, which will be a massive boon for many upcoming fights. I decide level 17 will be enough grinding, and so we're off to take on Brock. Thanks to being absurdly overleveled and Double Kick, we win first try with no issue. After a chat with some guy named Blue, we pass through Route 3 with no issue and make it to Mount Moon. No one in Mount Moon can stop the overwhelming strength of Cheese, and we manage to smoke some guy who's guarding 2 fossils. After picking the one shaped like a spiral, we're stopped by Jesse and James of all people. They're completely blocking us from proceeding unless we battle them, but unfortunately for Cheese, they also won't let us battle them unless we have 2 Pokemon with us. So Topanga rejoins us temporarily to beat these guys before going back into the box. We rush through Route 4, head straight into Misty's gym, crush all the gym trainers, and are immediately and completely stonewalled by Misty. I try again, but with Thundershock being a 4-hit KO and Stormy Scald being a 2-hit KO, I realize that this simply may not be possible at this level. After 7 attempts, I get extremely lucky and manage to get back-to-back full paras on Starmie to secure the win. On day 2 of Let's Go, Cheese completely steamrolls everyone on Nugget Bridge and Route 24, and we make our way to Bill's house to free him from his Nidorino-shaped prison and get some boat tickets. Side note, how does Bill in the Pokemon world just completely gloss over this technology? The applications for being able to transfer consciousness like this are totally limitless. A short walk through Route 5 and a long walk through an underground tunnel later, We arrive in Vermilion City. Immediately, I realize this is both exactly where I want to be and that I have completely messed up simultaneously. This will be an easy fix though, right? I just have to get through the SS Anne segment? Wrong. I need to beat Tucker in order to proceed, but his Oddish stops Cheese dead in his tracks. After 3 attempts, some grinding, 3 more attempts, and 45 minutes of mind-numbing gameplay, I decide to just use super potions in battle to move on. Topanga learns the secret technique Chop Down, allowing us to make progress. On day 3, we try to head forward to Rock Tunnel, but Cheese is immediately stopped by this random picnicker's gloom. Fearing the worst, I go back to previous routes to get XP. We even stop by Lieutenant Surge's gym, which takes Cheese 3 attempts to get through, but he was eager to prove himself stronger than any old Raichu. With more grinding on Route 11, we decide we're ready to try the Gloom of Doom again, finally getting through her with a ridiculous 3 out of 4 headbutt flinches. After a very inspiring encounter with Lorelei, we can finally enter Rock Tunnel to catch some Geodude. After looking around for a few minutes, I find exactly 0 Geodude. This is extremely frustrating because at this point I've invested over 2 hours trying to make progress to get here. After this, I realize I can pass through Diglett's tunnel to make it all the way back around to Mount Moon, meaning we could have completely avoided the Gloom of Doom and all the extra grinding. In any case, we can finally move into phase 1 of the grind, catching Geodudes. I use the XP to evolve as many Pokemon as I can, and after over 2 hours of catching, we end the night with 174 Geodudes. The reason I've captured so many Geodudes is because of these really cool NPCs in Let's Go. In each of the Pokemon Centers in Cerulean, Vermilion, Lavender, Celadon, Saffron, Fuchsia, Cinnabar, and the Indigo Plateau, there's an NPC who will trade you an Alolan form in return for the Cantonian one. This is a great gameplay mechanic that breathes a lot of life into the stale type pool of the standard Kanto decks, but the coolest part about these trades, especially for us, is that they are infinitely repeatable and not shiny locked on top of that. I think this is one of the more unique shiny hunting methods, and slogging through the Kanto region was definitely worth it. With day 4 of Let's Go, phase 2 finally begins. All we need to do is sit and trade with this hiker. I believe the Alolan trades are always full odds with no way to increase them. I think the shiny charm also has no effect. After running out of Geodudes to trade, we just need to reset the game and we can continue like normal. It takes about 32 seconds to get through the dialogue, trade a Geodude, and then get through the summary screen of our new Geodude. This means that ideally, in a 2-hour night of gameplay, I should be able to trade about 225 Geodudes. In reality, I'm just a human that is absolutely full of human inefficiencies, preventing me from maintaining that pace. I do get pretty close though, because all that's required is for me to press A constantly, generally maintaining a pace of about 36 seconds per Geodude. This includes time for resetting the game and double checking to make sure I didn't miss any shinies at the end of a batch. With shiny odds on the Switch being 1 in 4096, and my average rate of 36 seconds to Geodude, it would take about 41 hours of gameplay before I end up on odds. I'll explain shiny probability a little later on in the video, but for now being on odds means you have a 63% chance of having gotten a shiny by that point, approximately. On my first day of the hunt, I sit down and lock in for the entire day. For 12 hours, I trade Geodudes with my man Higeo. I trade 7 batches for a total of 1,218 Geodudes. Thankfully, this method is so low intensity that I can focus on other things like watching videos and talking to my friends. With morale still strong, I carry on into day 2 of the hunt. Most days, I can't dedicate a huge amount of time like I did on the first. On day 2, I managed to fit 3 batches in for a total of 1,740 wonderful Alolan rocks traded. My dedication to the challenge continues strong, and on day 3 I fit in another 3 batches for 2,262 total. Higeo and I know each other pretty well by this point, and I get to learn about some of his personal life. It turns out that all he ever does is hike. If he's not hiking, he's resting for the next hike. It's very similar to my relationship with the Alolan Geodude hunt. On day 4, I managed to get 2 batches done in decent time. With time for a third, I reset. I didn't know it at the time, but that would be the last time I reset Let's Go. Ah! Ah! Oh. Modest. Yes. Yes. I was so excited to get this modest young man. It felt like it took no time at all, even with all the fumbling I did at the start. I only saw 2,656 Alolan Geodudes, which is only about a 47.7% chance to have a shiny at that mark. With better planning, I certainly could have improved the beginning of the run, capturing all of my Geodudes right after Brock. I would have been able to skip the SSN, Vermilion Gym, the trek to Rock Tunnel, and the fight with the Gloom of Doom. Ultimately, I was just excited that I had one down so quickly, and I was very excited to move on to the next game. We couldn't nickname this Geodude, but if I could, he would be called Tyler. Alolan Geodude gets an A rank for an amazing start. Next up is Pokemon Sword. We're going to be here for a long time, so if you didn't already, be sure to grab a drink, a snack, stretch out, and get cozy. There are 5 targets for us in Sword: Audino, Maractus, Chinchino, Dubwool, and Cramorant. I personally felt as though full odds hunting all of these would be a bit much for me, so we will absolutely be getting the shiny charm for this playthrough. Hot off the heels of Let's Go, we press into Sword immediately. We begin our journey by getting introduced to this big Charizard. I guess big Pokemon are a feature of this game. We then get introduced to our rival Hop and the rest of his family. And what the heck? Look at this absolute shrine they have dedicated to Leon. Poor Hop, I can't imagine growing up under that shadow was a very comfortable experience. In any case, Leon gives us a choice of Pokemon and it's time to lock in our team theme. For this playthrough, I decided to go with a green team. I didn't plan anything ahead, but you can probably see where this is going to go. Please welcome the first member of our team, Bumbler the Grookey. We spent through the rest of the tutorial finding this Charizard in Wedgehurst. Is this guy popular or something? Grab the Pokedex from Sonia, get dressed up in a nice thematic outfit, and wrap up the night there. In the next session, we finally, for the first time ever, learn how to catch a Pokemon. Thank goodness, I don't know if we could have managed without it. And thanks to this special tutorial, we can immediately catch everyone on the route, which includes Yamper, Rookity, Blipbug, Choodle, Squabit, and Nickit. To gush for just a moment, if there's one thing I absolutely love about the modern era Pokemon games, it's the diversity of encounters you get so early on. Earlier games just feel like all the early options have all the same types. We move on to Professor Magnolia's house and crush hop yet again before getting a Dynamax band. Before leaving, we can use the fishing hole by our house to snag an extremely difficult to catch Magikarp. Our next destination is the wild area, which is sure to actually contain new members for our team. At the train station, we're handed a free Eevee, which is sure to help with our Pokédex. We named the Eevee Basil, just in case I can evolve it into a Leafeon for the team. In the wild area, we managed to capture a Vanillite, Bunnelby, Swinub, and an Encata from a raid. Then I find a Metapod, who is technically eligible for the team, which we name Mortimer. Immediately after that, I see a Roselia, who would actually be an incredible addition for the team. Unfortunately, it's just too strong and completely wipes my team. After that tragic loss, I return to catching new Pokemon. We're able to find Roggenrola, Pancham, Temple, Nuzleaf, Seedot, and then finally our next team member in Electrike. While he won't be able to evolve, he's still a great asset for coverage to the team. Welcome, Calzone. All of this XP causes Blipbug to evolve into Dottler. Then we find a spooky ghost area with Ghastlies and Duskulls that are too strong to catch. The neighboring area has Oddish, who we could use if I can evolve it into a Blossom. Catching Oddish gives Bumbler enough levels to evolve into Thwackey, and then we name the Oddish Bunny 2. Right next to the Oddish is a Buddy raid, allowing me to make up for that horrible loss to Roselia. We name her Molliv. We then round off this section of wild area with Purloin. Also, why is it standing like that? Hello? Quagsire, Stuffle, Bounsweet, and Impidimp from a raid, Machop, Wingull, Stunky, Corphish, Krabby, bringing our Pokédex to 36. We make our way into Motostoke, doing some little odds and ends, and finally getting the volume controls before ending there for the night. Our next task is to make our grand debut in Galar's Gym Challenge. We'll be in a stadium full of people and televised to the entire region, so naturally, we need to spend all of our money getting our hair and makeup done. After all, what's the point of being the best if we're not going to look the best as well? After a wonderfully hollow and not voice-acted ceremony, we're finally ready to get a move on to Turffield and start collecting some badges. On the way, we smoke hop yet again, catch a Tyrogue, Clink, Vulpix, and Zigzagoon. On the same route, we find a Trubbish, who ends up becoming one of the most crucial additions to the team. Happy to have you, Milton. We continue catching Pokemon, netting ourselves a Gossifleur and Roly-Poly. In the Galar Mine, we can find a Timburr, completely with a Drillbur, Woobat, and Diglett. We're stopped by some guy claiming to be the best gym challenger, which just isn't possible because I'm the main character. I let him know that personally before moving on to the beautiful golden fields of Route 4. In the delicious grains, we can have a fateful encounter with a Wooloo that isn't shiny, before moving on to snag a Meowth, a Cutiefly, a Pumpkaboo, a Joltik, and last but certainly not least, a Pikachu. After making it to Turffield, I make a fancy league card to show off to fellow challengers. We'll need it because Turffield Gym is absolutely no match for Milton. After struggling with the Wooloo only a little bit, Milton is ready to melt through Milo's team. When the battle begins, Milton wastes no time deciding to immediately Dynamax and start spamming Maxus, getting 2 special attack boosts on Gossifleur. Milo Dynamaxes his Eldegoss, but it's already too late for him. Milton uses Maxus for the third and final time before cleaning Eldegoss up with 2 Sludges, securing us our first piece of the pie. We head back to Motostoke, finally having enough money to buy a cute white and green plaid bag to match the rest of our outfit. I also remembered to catch a Milcery on Route 4 before moving on to Route 5. This Milcery will be important later, so say hi to Vanilla. On Route 5, we catch a Dewpider. She has an adamant nature and will later become the glue of the playthrough. Her name is Vanessa. To round off the route, we catch a Swirlix, Farfetch'd, Minccino, Esper, and an Applin. Our first Zigzagoon evolves into a Linoon, we beat up some Team Yell Grunts, which gives us the bike, and have yet another battle with Hop. Vanessa and Calzone are more than enough to take down Hop, leaving us to explore the bridge on the way to Hulbury. We find an Eldegoss gently floating on the breeze, which Vanessa helps us capture, netting her enough experience to evolve already. We make it to Hulbury, where we find Oleana and Rose, who wish to have a meeting with us. They'll be waiting for us to acquire the Water Gym badge, so they go to a restaurant to wait. They'll be waiting a while, but okay. We find Nessa standing by the lighthouse, and she recognizes us for the fellow celebrity that we are. Before challenging her gym, we fish up an Arrokuda and Chinchou. I'm not sure what it is about water gyms, but they always seem to have pretty good puzzles. I think there are a few too many gym puzzles where they just solve themselves. Right at the door for the gym, I figure out that Budew can't learn any of the good and useful moves it could in the past, and is instead stuck with the 4 bad moves that it currently has. As a result, I go in with Vanessa, and if Arrokuda didn't flinch me 3 out of 4 times, with the 3rd being a crit, we wouldn't have had to switch into Calzone. Calzone cleans up the Arrokuda, and then we one-shot Dreadnought with Bumbler. At the restaurant, we meet with Rose and Sonia to talk about absolutely nothing at all. He tells us that Magnolia turned Wishing Stars into Dynamax bands, and that's it. He waited all that time for nothing. After, we rush into the sequel to the Galar Mine, Galar Mine number 2. I don't know why they didn't give these places unique names, but this one is water themed rather than standard cave themed. Here we can catch a Wimpod, a Barboach, a Shellos that is most certainly going on the team, and a Binacle. We name the Shellos Marrow and add him on immediately. The same battle, Molive finally evolves into Roselia, learning Poison Sting? How did she fall off so hard? A Noibat spawns, so we capture him. Then, Bede shows up to lose again, so we completely annihilate him with Vanessa. We can round off Galar Mine number 2 with a Stunfisk and a Dreadnought. Outside the cave is the Motostoke outskirts, where we can immediately catch a Coughing, Hatena, Pawniard, Noctowl, and a Sudowoodo. I decide to take a detour in the wild area, where I stumble into a Mudbray and a Clobbopus raid. I also happen across a Natu raid, who is notably green and will provide some needed type diversity for our team. Welcome, Journal. Finally getting to business in Motostoke, we head for the hotel for a battle with Marnie and a good night's rest. Marnie goes down in no time thanks to Bumbler, leaving plenty of time for a wonderful sleep. In Kabu's gym, we need to catch Pokemon to gain points to succeed. This is very useful as it allows us to add Sizzlipede and Litwick to the Pokedex. This is honestly a really cool and unique idea for a gym challenge, and I'd love if they did more like these in the future with other rare Pokemon. We try to start off Kabu's fight with Marrow, but he immediately gets burned, which will cut into his HP too much. We switch to Vanessa, who is immune to being burned and takes half damage from fire types thanks to her water bubble ability. Kabu Stadium also has an awesome cracked pattern on the floor and glows when you Dynamax, which Vanessa wonderfully shows off for us against Arcanine. We end the battle by looking at this really cool radiator before securing our 3rd gym badge. With the Fire Badge, we gain access to new portions of the wild area, which means gigantic swaths of new Pokemon. We can pick up Skorupi and Carablast, which causes Marrow to evolve into a beautiful and elegant Gastrodon. In the Bridge Field, we are introduced to our lovely, wonderful, gorgeous, amazing Maractus. Maractus is absolutely the reason I went with the green theme, and we will be shiny hunting them as a part of the main story. We catch one for the Pokédex, find a Cufant that we named Teapot, catch a Wobbuffet, and a Baltoy. We defeat enough Maractus that Bumbler evolves into a Rillaboom, and is likely retired from the team. I'll be spending the rest of my night KOing Maractus, so let me explain a bit about what's going on. Maractus can only spawn in 4 locations. These are Route 6, which is the route to Stowonside, the Bridge Field, the Stony Wilderness, and Hammerlock Hills. Maractus will always spawn in Route 6, but the other 3 areas are in the wild area, and Maractus is a weather-dependent spawn. Maractus will only spawn in the wild area locations when the weather is harsh sunlight. Weather is randomly determined for each area at midnight, with the exception of a few special dates, where the entire wild area will be set to one weather type. For us, this would be July 1st and August 1st, but I won't make it to those dates while still being stuck on Maractus. There are also 3 weather types that are unlocked over the course of the story. These are Blizzard, Sandstorm, and Fog. Fog is unlocked after becoming champion, while Blizzard and Sandstorm are unlocked when you visit Hammerlock. It turns out I'm about to make a big mistake by visiting Hammerlock, because if an area rolls Sandstorm and it isn't unlocked yet, it's replaced with harsh sunlight. Blizzard is replaced by snow, and Fog is replaced by clear, for anyone wondering. I only just now found this out during the editing process. It is critical to hunt for Maractus in the wild area, as when eligible to spawn, it takes up a massive 35% of spawns for the Bridgefield and Stony Wilderness, and 34% for Hammerlock Hills. The missing 1% goes to supersized Pumpkaboo. With an enormous amount of spawn points, we can rack up so many encounters so quickly. Compare this with Route 6, a small, cramped route where all the spawns are located on narrow pathways or up these egregiously slow ladders. Maractus only has a 10% spawn rate here too, making this one of the most frustrating grinding experiences. When the weather isn't cooperative, I will try to hunt in Route 6, but that will only make up a tiny fraction of the encounters. Sword and Shield don't have any typical shiny chaining method like those present in the other games, but they do have brilliant Pokemon. Brilliant Pokemon are pretty unique in that they are always exceedingly rare, but the payoff for finding one is rather small. Their appearance and shiny rates are determined by how many of the species you have already caught or defeated. We can see the rate at which they scale on this chart from Bulbapedia. After encountering the species for the first time, brilliant Pokemon can begin spawning. They start out with only 1 extra shiny roll initially, but can scale up to 6 extra shiny rolls after defeating or catching 500 of the species. The brilliant Pokemon spawn rate will also never be higher than 3%, capping out after just 100 counters. The brilliant Pokemon are eligible for the 2 additional rolls from the shiny charm as well, which we'll obtain later. When defeated, brilliant Pokemon also provide a decent amount of watts, which we can use for cool items. Brilliant Pokemon won't be a major contributor to our shiny hunts, but they are absolutely worth going after. We'll need to defeat at least 500 of every Pokemon we shiny hunt in the wild. Thankfully, this provides us with a ton of experience for our Pokédex, and for Vanessa and Milton to become strong enough to consistently one-shot all of these Maractus. For evolutions obtained, we have Steenie, Gloom, Ribombee, Milton evolves into Garbodor, Boldore, Beware, Tranquil, Kingler, Orbeetle, Palpitoad, Unpheasant, Corvisquire, Seismitoad, Morgrim, Meowstic, Golisopod, Girder, Carkol, Vanillish, Corviknight, Colossal, Grimmsnarl, Boltund, and Mudstale. We catch an Inkay, Ferroseed, and an Eldrim during this grinding session too. This brings our current dex total to 115. Just one night of Maractus grinding nets us about 375 encounters already. Unfortunately, the next day has no harsh sunlight to take advantage of. I decide to go ahead and make story progress then, hoping to find more Maractus on Route 6. Like mentioned earlier, this likely was a big mistake, but I simply didn't know at the time. The active team is Teapot, Journal, Marrow, Molive, Calzone, and Bumbler. On the way to Hammerlock, we can capture Cubchoo, Sneasel, Rhyhorn. Catch him! No! Rhyhorn, please! I'm trying to save you from the rocks in the sky! Oh. Come on, Rhyhorn. Come on. Yes. Come on, Rhyhorn. Yes. 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 Yes! He's saved! He's saved! He's saved! Torkoal, Golett, Dwebble, and Shuckle. Journal evolves into Xatu, giving him a well-deserved power boost, and we also find a Manectric, Wooper, and a Machoke. On the steps of Hammerlock, Bede tells us that he beat Hop, which is pretty surprising since Bede has been one of the easiest recurring characters so far. In Hammerlock, we beat a Fear Cottony to get a Focus Sash, then go shopping for a nice hat to complete our outfit. Using our Applin from earlier, we can watch as a Romance blossoms. It may not work out because of the long distance, but really we're just here for the Tartapple. We meet Bede, Oleana, and Rose in front of Hammerlock Stadium, and we overhear a dark conspiracy that they have to collect a bunch of wishing stars. Who would have guessed that Rose may not be the greatest guy after all? We then run into Leon, who gives us some really good advice about losing instead of his brother for some reason. Our last stop is the Hammerlock Vault, which has really cool historical tapestries depicting the darkest day. On our way to Route 6, we find Team Yell protecting a sleeping Silicobra from being woken up by any passersby. I totally agree, I don't want to wake up a Silicobra at all. They won't let us pass though, so we battle them to get through. Of course, this causes Silicobra to wake up, destroying my little heart. In Route 6, we add Yamask, Dugtrio, Axew, Helioptile, Duskull, Durant, and Silicobra. After this, I spend the next 3.5 hours grinding Maractus on this route, and it was just miserable. Every patch is so cramped that it feels pretty inevitable that we run into a non-target encounter. Even more annoying is that a decent percentage are Dugtrio with Arena Trap, meaning I have to fight them and can't just run away. Ugh. Ultimately, I get a few encounters and also find a Trapinch named Misty that we add to the team. I also find a Hippopotas. Over the course of the grinding, we get enough experience to evolve a Claydol, Beartic, Sandaconda, Lampent, Dusclops, Beheeyem, Crawdaunt, Noivern, and Barbaracle. Fortunately, the next grind will take place in the wild area. Nothing particularly eventful happens, but we make significant Pokédex progress. We evolve Piloswine, Skuntank, Hippowdon, Pelipper, Ferrothorn, Drapion, Hatchrim, Whiscash, Galvantula, Berserker, Barraskewda, and Weezing. The next day, there are no Maractus available in the wild area. Not wanting to go back to Route 6, we decide to make some progress in the story. We make it to Stowon side, which doesn't have much going on. We can pick up a Razor Claw from the Spender. We have a battle with Hop, which Marrow completely sweeps. And Teapot evolves into Copperajah from all the XP, learning the very valuable Heavy Slam. At the gym, we do a fun teacup game that definitely does not give us any concussions. After getting sufficiently dizzy, we can challenge B. Marrow is our lead again, and our cool Slug can deal with Hitmontop and Pangoro. We bring in Journal next, who can easily become large and defeat Sirfetch'd and Machamp. Misty evolves into Vibrava after the battle, and we finally acquire our 4th badge. We find Bede destroying an ancient Galar mural, recklessly erasing history in an attempt to subjugate the rest of the gym challengers. Marrow puts Bede in his place, then Rose attempts to save face by disqualifying Bede. It's very difficult to determine whether or not Rose actually does feel genuinely upset about Bede attempting to destroy the ruin. Anyway, the wall crumbles, and behind we find statues of legendary Pokemon and the heroes. After the drama wraps up, we can speed through the Glimwood Tangle. In our first pass, we just catch a Shiinotic, then head into Balonlay. In Balonlay's gym, we trade a Galarian Yamask for a Univin Yamask, which is crucial for the Pokédex. We head into the gym challenge, which has a fun audition theme. As the Fairy-type gym, Teapot makes her grand first debut, crushing all of the trainers without breaking a sweat. We're running into PP issues by the time we get to Opal, but Teapot barely makes it out with a clean gym sweep. We fly straight away to Hammerlock, where Bede is sulking about in front of the gym. Opal steals him away for some training, then a conversation with Sonia is interrupted by some giant earthquake caused by Rose doing experiments. On the way to Route 7, we have yet another battle with Hop, and this one finally breaks him out of his post-loss funk. In Route 7, we add Shelmet, Fracture, Thievul, and Morpeko. The first part of Route 8 has this neat ruin theme, and here we can catch Bronzong, Rufflet, Phalanx, and Crustle. The second part of Route 8 introduces us to the icy routes, and here we can snag Snom, Snorunt, this blue guy, and if you know his name, let me know in the comments, and a second Snorunt. Sir Chester has plenty of things to do, but for now we skip to Route 9 to find more little guys. This area has Marini, our first Cramorant encounter, Octillery, our second Cramorant, and a super-powered Wishiwashi. Back in Sir Chester, we can explore for a variety of goods. Game Freak is here, so there will be lots of good stuff for us. The important thing we can grab now is the Catching Charm, which is sure to help a ton. For yet another day in a row, there are no Maractus available to me. I don't want to make any more story progress until we get a shiny, so we'll be doing some more Stowon side grinding. But first, we get our second to last team member, vanilla from earlier. I evolve it into a nice matcha green with hearts. And I definitely did not fail at evolving it any amount of times. I hunt for just under 40 minutes before giving up, but I do at least catch another Yamask to replace the one we traded. I didn't even evolve a single Pokemon before I gave up. From here on, I stick to waiting for harsh sunlight to hunt Maractus. In my next session, I don't find Maractus, but I do evolve Hatterene, Golurk, Centiskorch, Glalie, Toxapex, Rhydon, Diggersby, Bisharp, Obstagoon, Cofagrigus, Clang, Braviary, Weavile, Vanillux, Dubwool, Gyarados, Toxtricity, Lantern, Greedent, and Liepard. 2 days later, we return to the wild area. Thanks to our new badges, we can catch some of the static encounters that were too high level before. We catch a Hawlucha and do a raid for a Salazzle. A Bonsly spawns when we get to the Maractus location too, which is great. In this session, I finished evolving the remaining Pokemon that I have access to. Those are Haunter, Klinklang, Nincada into Ninjask and Shedinja, Pangoro, Butterfree, and Swoobat. I can't evolve Snom until it's nighttime, so he'll have to wait for now. At this point, I begin running away from Maractus instead of knocking them out. At the end of this session, we have encountered 1,945 wonderful cactuses. Later that night, I grind for another hour and a half. Here we're able to evolve Frostmoth, officially capping what I can do for Pokédex progress. I wouldn't be able to play for the next 5 days, but the next time I fire up Pokemon Sword, it's on the Switch 2. This won't mean much for us other than minor load time differences, but even those will make a large difference. Here's a comparison of the start and ends of battles between Switch 1 and Switch 2. Over the thousands of encounters of shiny hunting, this is sure to save a ton of time. The Switch 2 also prevents any lag that would be occurring, which is a nice plus. I do a 30-minute test footage for the Switch 2, and I can catch a Salandit and a spare Bounsweet during this time because I messed up Steenie earlier, preventing her from evolving. A few hours later, I hop on for a much longer session. This particular night was blessed. I don't know if it was Switch 2 luck or what, but that night, after only 30 minutes of hunting and just 2,318 encounters, it happened. Oh! And it's square. Ah! Oh my god! Full odds too, technically. Oh my god! Oh, that's so sick! The Switch 2's just goated. Oh, what do I name him? He's so beautiful. Dude, that was so free. I'm like super under odds on everything right now. Should I just quick ball it? I kind of wanted to catch it in a friend ball, but like, if I miss that, like, some other status move. Alright, I'm just gonna try the friend ball. Criddle. No. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Sweet Scent. Alright, Premier Balls. Hold on, let me do that. Dang it. That cursed it, actually. There it is. Oh, what do I name him? Oh, I want to name him Mango. That's your name. Also, Pro Controller Luck. Oh my god, look! Look at him! Yes! One more. That's alright. I did need another one. We're good. We fail a friend ball catch, unfortunately, but we do at least get him in a premier ball. What can I say about this one? I spent a lot of time waiting, but really it didn't feel like such a bad hunt at all. I absolutely love Maractus, and to get a semi-full odd shiny after only 2,318 encounters just feels so special. On Switch 2 release day, no less, Mango easily gets an S tier. With Mango filling our last team slot, we can make a beeline for the rest of the story progress. But first, Pokemon Camp. Oh well, this is good content. Yeah, come here. Yeah, come here. Look at this. Boom! Oh my goodness. Ow. Bam! Alright, get me out of here. We immediately head to Sir Chester, where Mango can make his debut. In Sword, the gym is Rock type, making this much easier. Mango would be struggling a lot in Shield. After completely and totally first trying the entire gym and not failing the puzzles at all, we arrive at Gordy. Despite being 9 levels below, Mango completely one-shots Barbaracle. Big Mango attempts to take on Shuckle, but is unsuccessful. Teapot cleans up Shuckle, one-shots Stonjourner, and does big damage to Colossal. Marrow finishes the fight for us, netting us our 6th badge. This random restaurant in Sir Chester has a 5th tapestry depicting the slumbering Weald. Why do they have this? Shouldn't this be in a museum or something? All this food and lore gets Hop anxious to battle. We introduce him to Mango, who he immediately crits. The rest of the fight goes smoothly, other than this really drawn out portion against Snorlax. We meet the bike guy on Route 9 and save him from Team Yell yet again, giving us the water mode. With the new water mode, we can catch a Graplocked, Wailmer, and Mantike. Off of the trainer battles, Misty evolves into her final form. We find a Mantine and catch it, although it was quite the challenge. Quillfish is no problem to catch, but Remoraid is a major problem just to encounter. In the southernmost part of Route 9, we can catch Bergmite and Delmise. We find a secret entrance to Spikemuth, and Marnie battles us for some reason. Spikemuth's gym challenge is nothing more than a hallway, so we make it to Piers after just a few fights. Piers is really lacking in the voice acting department, and he stands no chance against the Mango Vanilla Misty combo. Afterwards, there's a really cool wild Dynamax Pokemon on the loose that we have no opportunity to see. Instead, we just go on to Hammerlock, meet with Sonya, Hop, and the gang, then immediately start the Hammerlock Gym Challenge. Raihan's gym is all double battles, which is very cool. Sometimes I wish the main series games explored double battles more, which would probably also get more people into VGC. Raihan is without a doubt the toughest gym leader yet, but he cannot stand up to the wrath of Mango and Marrow. In just a tiny fraction of the time it took us to get our final team member, we now have all 8 badges. We immediately take the train to get to Winden, but we have to get through the chilly Route 10 first. In the beautiful snowscape, we can catch Mr. Mime, Snover, and Abomasnow. After too many trainer battles, we make it to Winden. I explore for a bit, but don't find anything particularly noteworthy. I do trade my Frostmoth for a Duraludon, which saves us another catch later. We go straight into the semifinals, which is the second to last tournament with all of the gym challengers. First up is Marnie, who gets completely swept by Teapot, no switches or anything needed. It's pretty cool to see all the main characters Dynamax their Pokemon though. That feels like a really nice story payoff. Next up is Hop, who's really grown into himself by the time we make it to this battle. This is probably the most difficult battle in the game so far, and requires us to use a few team members to win. After the tournament, we're supposed to get dinner with Leon, but it turns out that he's nowhere to be found. We set out with Piers to go find him, but it turns out Oleana is trying to make sure that doesn't happen. I have literally no idea how we didn't see this coming. This was impossible to predict. There's this guy who has the key we need, and we spend like 10 minutes tracking him down. Then we go to the Rose Tower and find Leon. As we climb the tower, a bunch of grunts try to stop us, but they're just busy work. At the top of the tower is Oleana, who has a pretty cool team with a Gigantamax Garbodor. Fun fact, Garbodor is the only Pokemon that's not from Gen 1 or Gen 8 that has a Gigantamax. After Oleana, we get this cutscene between Leon and Rose that has these neat artworks. I much prefer this style to the typical style with characters waving their arms around at each other. This feels much more impactful. With Leon firmly declining Rose's invitation, we're all set to do the final tournament the next day. I'm certain there will be no interruptions of any kind. But first, we need to get our team in the best shape possible. We teach Mango Sunny Day and Weather Ball to make him a powerful Sun Sweeper. We also teach Misty Sandstorm as a backup weather type. One problem I didn't anticipate though, is that Mango actually doesn't have Chlorophyll. We can fix this by speeding through the Isle of Armor introduction, catching a few Pokemon, and heading to the dojo. Oh, critical catch on the Luxury Ball for this guy. What?! In the dojo, we can talk to Hyde, who has created a machine called the Cramomatic. We can feed this guy 3 rare candies and a piece of junk to get a wonderful ability capsule, correcting Mango's ability to Chlorophyll. I complete just enough story to get it out of the way for when we return in the post-game. We can also see Mustard going crazy on Pokemon Quest in his room. Look at him go! He's a real gamer. Back in Winden, our team is all ready to go and we start the tournament. Immediately, the tournament is interrupted by Bede, who demands a battle with us this second. Mango immediately flexes his new Sunny Day skills to blow up Mawile and get some chip on Gardevoir. Teapot sweeps the rest of his team with precision irony and probably a lot of trauma relived. Get it? Irony? Like, it's ironic, but also like, whatever. First up is Nessa, who unfortunately leads Golisopod into Mango. We switch into Journal, who has no trouble with Golisopod. Journal also knows Sunny Day and can set up for Mango to sweep the rest of the team. The Cactus claims Barraskewda and Seaking, but unfortunately can't handle Pelipper. Misty can finish off Pelipper, then Big Misty can beat Gigantamax Dreadnought. Also, does this Dreadnought being Gigantamax mean this is a different Dreadnought from her Gym 1? Or did she go get Max Soup? Next up is B, and Mango again has a bad lead matchup against Hawlucha. We switch into Vanilla, who gets paralyzed, unfortunately. She's able to take down Hawlucha before succumbing to the paralysis against Surfetch'd. Journal can become large and max Airstream through Surfetch'd and max Mindstorm, Phalanx, and Grapploct. She can't finish off Machamp, but Mango can. Raihan is the final battle before Leon, and this time he's forced to play singles. He leads Torkoal, so Mango is 3-on-3 for bad leads. Misty can come in and set up Sandstorm, then one-shot Torkoal and go straight to sleep. Turtonator comes in to one-shot Misty, then Mango can come in to one-shot back with a Rock-type Weather Ball. Mango also successfully beats up Raihan's Flygon. Goodra comes in and switches the weather to Rain, resisting what I thought would be another Rock-type Weather Ball. We switch into Marrow and Dynamax to handle Goodra, already being set up for Duraludon too. Finally is Leon, who is so ready to get this battle started. As soon as we're about to start, Rose hijacks all the screens and tells us he's going to do whatever secret scary plan that he said at the top of Rose Tower, surprising no one at all. Of course, we now need the legendary heroes to save the day, so after a talk with Sonya, we head into the Slumbering Weald to look for the funny dog. We can catch a Munna and pick up a Smoke Ball here as well. We find the dog, and Sonya tells us to push a little farther, where we should find the resting place of Zacian and Zamazenta. We find a shrine with a broken sword and shield on the ground, and we decide to take the sword. Hop takes the shield, and then we rush to Hammerlock to see what all the fuss is about. It turns out underneath Hammerlock Stadium, Rose has awakened Eternatus to prevent an energy crisis in the future. Why did it have to be during the champion match? You'll have to play the DLC to find out. With Sunny Day set up, Mango can actually sweep 4 of Rose's Pokemon. Big Misty takes out the Copperajah, with Rose being almost happy? At the top of the tower, we find Leon failing to catch Eternatus. In one of the coolest legendary encounters in the series, we take it down, forcing it to reveal its Eternamax form. We play out a scripted raid battle with Hop, waiting for Zacian and Zamazenta to come and save us. After the dogs help us weaken it, we catch it in a Dream Ball, putting an end to this nonsense. Zacian and Zamazenta jump into the sun, waiting for us to chase after them in the postgame. For now, though, it's finally time to challenge Leon. I think Leon is one of the more difficult champions, and we'll see why here. We lead Journal into Aegislash and set up Sunny Day before feigning to Shadow Ball. Mango comes in to clear Aegislash with Weather Ball, and then we need to switch into Marrow against Cinderace. The Sun boosts his Pyro Ball, making it difficult for Marrow to handle it on his own. Marrow goes down, and Mango picks up the KO on Cinderace with Sucker Punch. Mango can also get 2 Sucker Punches onto Dragapult, just barely missing the 2-hit KO. Vanilla can give Dragapult the Kiss of Death before she loses to Haxorus's Iron Tail. Teapot can crush Haxorus with Play Rough, but instantly loses to Seismitoad. All we have left is Misty, and we immediately Dynamax her to start building up special defense with Max Quake. Leon sends in the guy from the start of the game, and the special defense proves to be huge as Misty tanks a Max Overgrowth. Misty retaliates with a Max Rockfall, but just misses out on the one-shot. Through Deus Ex Machina, Max Rockfall sets up Sandstorm and picks up the KO for us, just barely beating Leon on our first try. And with that, Pokemon Sword's main story comes to a close. But our adventure is just getting started. Pokemon Sword has a really cool title screen where we can see our Pokemon, and we can see Mango. Oh, look at this. This is sick. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but this is the title screen after you win. No Mango! Mango! Oh! For the rest of our hunts, we're going to need the Shiny Charm. In order to get that, we need to finish the base game's Pokédex. Meaning, we're going to need to catch Zacian. We head to the Slumbering Weald, where we have a nice battle with Hop. We return the Rusted Sword and Shield, which attracts these two dinguses like flies. We have to battle Swordward immediately, which really catches me off guard, and we barely win. This starts a very long and drawn out quest where we have to retrace the entire Galar region. Essentially, it all boils down to a boring raid at each of the gyms because they want to attract Zacian and Zamazenta. We also have to battle Bede for some reason. At the end of it all, we have to beat up Zamazenta to make him friendly, and after like an hour and a half, we finally get the opportunity to catch Zacian. The fight is absolutely brutal because she just one-shots all of my Pokemon. If there was any chance she couldn't, a Swords Dance clears that right up. My strategy is just to throw balls until the team completely faints. Then I reset and try again. We finally catch her on our 5th attempt. This isn't the end, however, as we have to return to the Slumbering Weald and win a very difficult battle against Hop, who now has Zamazenta. I even lost once. After winning though, we finally put an end to that 2.5 hour snooze fest of a post-game. It's finally time to start on the rest of the encounters we need. From Route 1, I grab Grubbin. In the wild area, I catch Onix, Combee, and a few more Tyrogues. Grubbin and Birdmite evolve from some XP, and then I head to the water to catch Shelder, Goldeen, Jellicent, and Frillish. I get lucky with a Cherubi from a tree, then head east to snag an extra Gloom, Bronzor, Drifblim, Pyukumuku, and accidentally beat a Cloyster. This causes Combee to evolve, then I find a Cloyster and catch it for real, causing Goldeen to evolve. In the spooky area, we find a Delibird and Drifloon, causing Cherubi and Bronzor to evolve. In Galar Mine, we find a nice Drillbur. Then, it's straight over to Galar Mine number 2 for Scraggy. After that, it's right over to the northern half of the wild area for Sigilyph, Dusknoir, Machamp, Excadrill, Blossom, and Mawile. After that, I head to Route 6 for lovely Heatmore. In the Glimwood Tangle, we grab Phantump, Sinistea, immediately evolve it into Poltegeist, find a Passimian, and Indeedee. In Route 8, we still have Togedemaru and Darumaka to grab. Route 9 has Pincurchin and Wailord, and finally, Route 10 has Stonjourner. With all the Pokédex recommendations complete, it's going to be a lot harder to find specific guys to capture. I stumble around for a bit and find a Doublade. Then at the Lake of Outrage we catch Swilus, evolving Mr. Mime into Mr. Rhyme. The Lake of Outrage also has one of each evolution stone, which is huge for us. I then start using Dragonfly Cave's weather tool to find anyone I might be missing today, which is such a wonderful tool. The entirety of Dragonfly Cave is so useful and I'm so thankful it exists. Please check it out, there's a link in the description. Using this, I find Basculin and Ditto. If we head to the Battle Tower, we can get a free type Null. In Leon's room, there's a cool Charred Lizard. Then I find a little Hoot Hoot in the wild. I catch a Snorlax, who I skipped earlier for no reason so many times, which also gets us a Charmeleon. I head over to the digging duo to try and get some fossils, and I spend literally all of my watts and don't get any. I waste a ton of time on the Rotom rally, catch a Vileplume, go back to Route 1 to catch a Caterpie, head to Route 2 to catch a Lapras, evolve Scrafty, and fish up a Phoebus. Afterwards, I catch a Meowth and trade it for a Cantonian one. It's time to rapid fire stone evolutions. We get Ninetales, Roserade, Chandelure, Flapple, Cinccino, Frostlass, Shiftry, Vikavolt, Raichu, Musharna, Heliolisk, and Aegislash. Then I spent an eternity looking for Togepi. It turns out I also missed a guy on Route 8, Solrock. I'm not sure why the Pokedex doesn't recommend us this one. To round off my night, we gamble some more on the digging duo, which goes as well as you'd expect, then buy all the incenses in Hulbury for any babies we might need. The next day, I start strong by finding a wild Conkeldurr. I use an Ice Stone to evolve Darumaka. No clue how I missed that guy. We then start using EXP candy to get a Charizard and Persian. I hatch a Pichu, then remember something really important. We head to Sirchester to meet up with Game Freak, and I lose big time to Morimoto. After I get a few more party members, we get the Oval Charm, which is a massive help for breeding. It'll increase our chances to get eggs according to this table on screen, making it almost necessary. We quickly hatch some Eevees so I can hopefully evolve one into Espeon before the sun goes down. The best way to get friendship in this game is to throw the ball in Pokemon Camp. This gets us Espeon in record-breaking time, also evolving Silvally. We hatch a bunch more Eevees, getting Flareon, Vaporeon, and Leafeon. I take a detour and find a Gourgeist, also getting Sylveon. Another Eevee later, we get a Glaceon. The detour was for a Thunderstone, which the Lake of Outrage thankfully had another for us. We hatch and evolve our last Eevee into Jolteon. We then hatch Wynot, Mime Jr., Morlul, Munchlax, Honedge, and Dino. With all eggs hatched for now, I return to evolving up the guys I can. We evolve Serena, Mamoswine, Togekiss, and then I attempt to evolve Inkay, but fail horribly. It turns out you need to disconnect any Pro controllers from the Switch for it to work. One Malamar later, and I pretty much have no choice but to see what I have in home to try and finish the decks. From home, I grab Scorbunny, Sobble, Ponyta, Growlithe, Arcanine, Ralts, Gardevoir, Gengar, Milotic, Steelix, Gigalith, Cleffa, Clefairy, Whimsicott, Rhyperior, Reuniclus, Duosion, Escavalier, Riolu, Lucario, Mimikyu, Turtonator, Rotom, Kommo-o, Dragapult, Lombre, Ludicolo, Goodra, Toxicroak, Corsola, Mandibuzz, Sableye, Drampa, Lunatone, Axew, Dracozolt, Arctozolt, Dracovish, Arctovish, Larvitar, and Tyranitar. Pretty much all of these Pokemon are either version exclusives, trade evolutions, or Pokemon I can't get unless I wait a really long time for weather. For these ones, I was totally okay with using home to speed up the process instead of putting this project on hold for even longer. Besides, there's still work to be done on top of this. We evolve Reboot, Pupitar, Kirlia, Cinderace, Gallade, Drizzile, and Rapidash. After these guys, it's back to hatching. We've got Cottonee, Krogunk, Lotad, Solosis, Dreepy, Vullaby, and Goomy. We play ball with our last Eevee from earlier, then finally evolve her into Umbreon. We're finally down to our last few evolutions. Inteleon, Haxorus, Cursula, Hakamoa, Hydreigon, Sliggoo, and finally Dracloak, after an eternity of grinding. The last ones are all a little quirky. We have Clefable, Hitmonchan, Hitmontop, and Hitmonlee. For the absolute final missing Pokemon, I have to call in my dear friend Natalie to help. She trades me an Excelgor, a Pink Dog, a Slurpuff, Appleton, Gothita, Throw, Trevenant, Oranguru, and a Spritzy that I give a Sachet, which we then double trade again. In particular, I had a lot of trouble getting a Whip Dream, and she happened to have enough BP to get one for me. Thank you so much, Natalie. I couldn't have finished this project without you. Our absolute last Pokemon to get are Sirfetch'd, Runerigus, Gothorita, and finally, Gothitelle. That's Dex entry number 400. We make one last trip to Sirchester, where I finally lock in the diploma. Yes. Boom. Give me that thing. And the shiny charm at 63 hours and 44 minutes. I was so exhausted at this point that I didn't have much of a reaction, but I definitely had enough energy to immediately hop into our next shiny hunt, Minccino. I try a few different methods when starting out, like looking in Hammerlock Hills and going for random encounters in Giant's Cap. Pretty quickly, I find out that these spots really will not be viable hunting grounds because the spawn rate for Minccino is so low. Fortunately, they are available as symbol encounters on Route 5, and this is so much better. There are a few reasons why the Route 5 spawns are so much better. The most obvious is that I don't have to spend time waiting for random encounters to generate, but I also won't be risking off-target encounters. The other major reason is that in Sword and Shield, when you capture or defeat a symbol encounter, there's a 50% chance that the next symbol encounter generated will be of the same species and form. This is massive for low spawn rate encounters like Minccino and Sword. On Route 5, Minccino has a 15% chance to spawn in Sword, but 20% in Shield. Combined with the extra 50% chance, this means we have a 57.5% chance of encountering Minccino every time I defeat one. That is so much better than slogging through 15% encounters. After a little bit of experimentation, I settle on making this loop around the left side of the route as the most efficient path. And thanks to the shiny charm, it only takes about 10 hours of gameplay to obtain this wonderful rat. After just 860 encounters, here he is. Oh my god! Yo! There he is! There he is! Yes! Rat! I wasn't even looking. I was trying to eat some yummy food. Alright, catch this guy. Charlie. Actually, yeah, you're kind of right. We're going with Charles. Charles! Oh, Charles! Oh, Charles. Get a good look at Charles because he will not last for long. This is Charles. He must grow up. Charles, it's time for Charles to grow. Charles! Wham! Don't even tell me that guy looks the same. This guy's got a beach suntan. Charles. This was really great coming right off of completing the decks. It was so low intensity and I was making so much progress. I felt like I was going to be done with Sword in no time. I would say Minccino gets a B tier. Then it was time for Dubwool. Dubwool has a lot of options for how we could grind for it. Wooloo is a good option, but I decided we would take this opportunity to hunt in the Crown Tundra. This also gives us the benefit of hunting for Dubwool directly, which is the guy on our card. We can find Dubwool in a few different locations, all of which are weather dependent. In both harsh sunlight and clear weather, they can be found in Slippery Slope, Frostpoint Field, Giant's Bed, Snowslide Slope, and the 3-Point Pass. The best part about this is we can also find Audino in each of these locations at 1%, which is another one of our targets. It would be great if we accidentally found a shiny Audino during one of these. Fortunately, the Crown Tundra doesn't force us to engage with the story, so we can get the hunting Dubwool immediately. Dubwool is really difficult for our current team to one-shot. They're like Minccino, so we definitely want to KO them to maximize our encounters. Dubwool has a 50% chance of having the ability Fluffy, which doubles its defense stat. This makes physical attackers like Vanessa or our new Zacian completely off the table. We'll have to rely on a powerful special attacker, which Mango is not capable of on his own. Not even our Eternatus is a viable option because they have an adamant nature. Eternatus really didn't have enough power points available anyway. After looking through all of our options, I find the perfect one, Salazzle. She's fast and has a ton of high PP special attacks like Flamethrower and Sludge Bomb. Being fire type is also a huge benefit because she'll be able to do double damage to fluffy Dubwools, letting her self-train at a really low level. After turning Galar for some TMs, we land on Flamethrower, Heat Wave, Sludge Bomb, and Sludge Wave as her final moveset. This hunt was brutal for me. It just really took a toll on me that I was not expecting when I started this. Almost none of the areas are very fun to hunt Dubwool in. They're either too small with too many big Pokemon that I run into, or they're too big with too many small Pokemon I can't see. Anytime I have to heal my Pokemon, I have to bike all the way through the Crown Tundra just to get back to where I was. And on top of all of that, it just took a really long time. It took me about 40 hours over the course of 10 days. That may not sound like much, but it was pretty much all of my free time for a week and a half. And we still have 5 more shinies to go. Every day I would log on and he would always avoid me. I'd also like to take some time here to explain the probability behind shinies. As we know, the probability of finding a shiny Pokemon in the later generation games is 1 in 4096 encounters. So what are the odds you have a shiny after encountering 4096 Pokemon? Well, it's not 100%, and it's pretty difficult to calculate unless we reframe our thinking. We can say that the odds we get a shiny Pokemon in 4096 encounters are equivalent to 100% minus the probability that we do not get a shiny Pokemon in 4096 encounters. This sounds unhelpful, but it's actually much easier to calculate not getting a shiny. We can think of not having a shiny as failing the probability roll that many times in a row. Failing a shiny roll is easy. That's 4095 out of 4096. Let's say we encounter 40 Pokemon. That means we multiply 4095 divided by 4096 by itself 40 times, which gives us a 99% chance that we don't have a shiny. In other words, that's a 1% chance that we do have a shiny in 40 encounters. So, the odds that we have a shiny by a certain number of encounters is 1 minus 4095 over 4096 raised to the number of rolls that we have. The amount of rolls is influenced by the shiny charm as well. With it, every time we encounter a Pokemon, the game automatically attempts up to 2 more rolls. This means that finding a regular double in the wild is actually like finding a bundle of 3 regular doubles for the price of 1. All that said, how many encounters did it take to get double? By the time I got it, I had encountered 2,944 of them, which is 600 more than Maractus. With the shiny charm, this really means 8,832 rolls, which is over double odds, and that gives us about an 88% success rate. That's not even factoring in brilliant encounters, which probably gets us over or around 90%. Anyway, without further ado, I give you double. Ah! Oh! Oh! Oh. Oh. Fuck this stupid Baka sheet. It looks so sick though. What are you called? Damn. Dolly. Yes. I feel like my reaction really speaks for itself. This was a massive weight off of me. I was genuinely feeling like I wouldn't be able to finish the challenge until we finally got this guy. The catharsis I experienced from getting the double gave me the motivation to push forward though. So, with renewed strength, let's wrap up Pokemon Sword. Though we unfortunately didn't pick up Audino, I really couldn't bear to be in the Crown Tundra more. So, we're headed straight for the Isle of Armor. I really wanted to show off at least a little bit of the DLC areas, so we'll be looking for Cramorant here. The best place to find them is flying over this little pond in the training lowlands. There are also a lot of wandering Cramorants that we can find on the way too after healing. Salazzle can consistently defeat them with her poison attacks, which is great. Unfortunately though, we're running into a bit of the same issue we had with Dubwool. We'll need to train up another attacker, and after a little bit of time searching, I find the perfect guy. We'll be using Galvantula with Volt Switch, Discharge, and Electro Web, which gives us a massive 50 PP to work with. He also takes barely any time to train up because of the 4x weakness, which is wonderful. I felt like I could have handled anything after Dolly, but Cramorant went quick. Like, so fast. It literally only took me 3 days, no problem at all. With 943 encounters, here he is. Oh, there he is. Oh, he looks so silly and funny. Oh my god. Ooh. Ooh. I knew it. Didn't I tell you? I was like, I feel like it's gonna be a good day. Ooh. Boom. 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 Luxury ball. Oh, you can barely see him here. The Guzzler is pretty good. The Guzzler. The Guzzler. Okay, look at this. Oh, Pikachu! I love Lenny TG so much, thank goodness. What a wonderful and relaxing vacation he was to get. I give him an A tier, no doubt. Last up for Sword is Audino, who we're going to breed for. I wanted to show off as many shiny hunting methods as I could, so the last one was going to come from eggs. I'll also be breeding for natures and IVs too, because why not? There are a few breeding mechanics I'd like to explain. First, and most importantly, is the Masada method. By breeding Pokemon from 2 different languages, like this Ditto and our Audino, the game will give us 5 extra rerolls when determining shininess. This stacks with the Shiny Charm for a total of 8 rolls, meaning our odds for hatching a shiny Audino are 1 out of every 512 eggs. These are easily the best odds available to us in the game. Another very simple mechanic is passing down natures. Natures are a little characteristic on your Pokemon that boosts one of their stats by 10% and reduces another one of them by 10%, excluding HP. By giving one of the parents an Everstone, it will pass down its nature 100% of the time. Easy peasy. IVs are a little more complicated. An IV is essentially a value that provides a flat bonus to your Pokemon stats. The catch is that these are genetic and determined at a Pokemon's generation, with no way to modify them other than bottle caps. When breeding, the baby Pokemon will inherit 3 IVs from its parents randomly. They could inherit HP, attack, and defense from one parent, or they could inherit a mix from both parents. The remaining 3 IVs are all randomly determined. We can increase the number of IVs inherited to 5 by giving one of the parents a Destiny Knot. This means that if any parents have max value IVs, we're much likelier for the child to have all of them. If any of the children have more perfect IVs than our parent Audino, we'll substitute them in, and eventually we'll have a giant army of swole Audinos. After 10-ish hours of grinding, my box space is totally full. This tends to happen with breeding, and it's one of my least favorite parts about it. Releasing all of them individually destroys any momentum you have because of how tedious it can be. Fortunately, we have a solution thanks to Pokemon Home. There is a mass release feature here that is so nice. It's a little bit of a bummer that we have to exit the game to use it, but hey, it saves me a ton of time. Pretty soon after this, I hatch my first 6 IV Audino. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Not the shiny, but 100% Audino. Yeah. He has the maximum possible value in every IV, which is very lucky. I make him the new parent, and I never have to worry about changing parents again. In the next session after this, I hatch 2 more perfect Audinos. I don't have much else to say other than they were the highlight of my night. At this point, I've been hatching Audinos for about 15 hours over the course of 4 days. I begin to grind on the 5th day, but it turns out I only need to play for 8 minutes before bringing our sword marathon to an end. Probably make another one. Yeah, for sure. But Squid Game 3 was really good. Oh, there No, are you serious? I'm not streaming? No! 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 Oh, I'm so sorry, Bailey. I recorded it though. We can go back and watch it. No, it does matter. Oh! Look! So pretty! So pretty! What do we name him? Oh, right! I'm sorry, I forgot. That's my bad. Oh! How good do you think it is? Place your bets. How many IVs do you think are max? I'm gonna say 4. Aw, you win! No! And it's one of them doesn't even count because it's attack. Ah. Yes. 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 It's stars. There we go. There they are. 3 100% Autinos. And then all these shiny, beautiful guys. Boom, boom. Lenny TG. Boom. I love, love, love Shiny Maractus and Audino. and I'm so happy this challenge gave me a chance to hunt for them. Raspberry unfortunately only has 2 max IVs that are relevant, but hey, you can't be lucky in everything. I also love Mega Audino so much, and I hope I can bring him into Legend CA once that releases. Raspberry will also get an A tier because I love him. Hyper off of completing Sword, I jump straight into our third game, Brilliant Diamond. Our only target here is Sentret, who is exclusive to the Poké Radar. In order to get the radar, we'll have to get the National Pokédex. All we have to do to get that is see everyone in the Sinnoh Dex, but not actually capture them. Meaning this game should be a breeze. And by breeze, I mean a literal breeze. We'll be using all flying types for this playthrough, starting with Piplup. Or, he's an honorary flying type. After getting the Pokédex, we go buy a ton of Pokéballs and catch a Starly, and then another, and another. We grind our little flock up to a reasonable level for the trainers, then crush everyone on the route and in the trainer school. To the left of Jubilife, we can get a fishing rod and fish up a Magikarp. She'll be critical later, but she's just a fish for now. Last thing we do in Jubilife is get the Poketch, which we won't be using often. We do a little more grinding on Route 204, and in the Ravage path we find another cute bird, Zubat. Although he's not the strongest in his current form, Absorb will be very helpful for all the rock types coming up. Route 203 has a fight with Barry, which is a complete blowout for him. None of the rest of the trainers put up much of a fight either, letting us pass straight into Orberg. Cilantro is more than capable of handling all the rock types in the mine with Absorb, but will that carry over to the gym leader? Heading into Rourke's gym, we fight the 2 trainers because we're going to need every experience point we can get. Cilantro has no trouble with them, meaning Rourke will be easy, right? Right? On our first attempt, we don't even make it to Rourke's final Pokemon. It seems like we'll have to rely on Supersonic and Double Team strategies, which is just so miserable to me. I give it a second try and don't even make it to Onyx, so we definitely need to grind some. Route 207 is perfect for this, thankfully, and I even get a Staravia. Staravia alone won't be enough to win the fight, as I lose my 3rd attempt, and the 4th, and the 5th. The 6th makes it to Cranidos, when luck shines in my favor and Cranidos misses 2 headbutts, with Marina landing a crit on a wing attack to make it a 3-hit KO instead of 4. All of that took around an hour, and I thought this was a great stopping point for the first day. Passing through Jubilife, we meet the Professor and Lucas, who are having trouble with these strange guys who have the ability to teleport us to a separate dimension. I'm sure that'll never come up again. Beating them unlocks ball capsules for us, which I'll be spending a lot of time on this playthrough. With Rock Smash, we can get through the Ravage path and make it to Floaroma Town. Seems like those weird guys are around here too, so I guess we'll be dealing with them the whole game. At least they're easy. Turns out back in Floaroma I can get a Jirachi and a Mew, but neither of them are flying type, so we fight some more guys to get a key to go fight more guys, saving a bunch of people in the process. I thought Mars would be a little difficult, but it turns out having 3 little birds with Intimidate is really strong. On Route 205, a lot of people have scary Geodudes, but we make it through them okay. Heading into Eterna Forest, we team up with this Lady Cheryl to beat up a ton of trainers in double battles and get lots of XP. Somehow, I never encountered a wild Pokemon on the first pass through either. I run back into the grass after Cheryl leaves to immediately find what I'm looking for, Silcoon. We name him Larry, and I don't think it's an understatement to say Larry will be our best team member. Even I wasn't expecting that, although I am his #1 supporter. The other side of Route 205 has just enough XP to get Larry to evolve into Beautifly, allowing him to be usable. I take a detour in the underground for a while, and we find a Murkrow for our team. Her name is Franziska. We also get a Swablu for the team named Lift. I really love how much diversity the Grand Underground provides for team building. It feels very unique compared to the original Diamond and Pearl, and even Platinum sometimes. The Eterna City gym presents no challenge at all, surprising nobody. Franziska just barely can't handle Gardenia all on her own, but we're at no shortage of birds to close the fight. We meet Cynthia, who gives us Cut, allowing us to enter the Galactic Building to save the Bite Guy's Pokemon. All of the Grunt's Pokemon are severely underleveled, so we'll skip to Jupiter. Skuntank is a really powerful Pokemon for this point in the game, but a combination of our team can get through her. The raw stats, Flamethrower, the Citrus Berry, and Aftermath make this a very memorable and powerful boss. After saving Clefairy, we get a nice bike and take a trip down the cycling road. There are slightly scary electric types here, but we're okay. Matthew even evolves into Gyarados, unlocking a new level of power for us. She sweeps through the rest of the road and Route 207 too, learning Waterfall and just totally skyrocketing in power yet again. Cilantro evolves into Golbat too, so we can handle just about anything at this point. I'm not even scared of rock types anymore. There's not much to do in Hearthome other than a battle with Barry, so we pass right into Route 209. Matthew continues to be on a tear, crushing every trainer here. Salacion is more of the same, not providing too much other than atmosphere and allowing us to get lost in the world on the long journey to Veilstone. I'm so surprised that they give Gyarados Waterfall so early. This game is totally unprepared to handle it, and Gyarados is just so easy to get. I make a note of battling every trainer I see to see as many Pokemon as possible. By battling every trainer, we're guaranteed to see every Pokemon we'll need for the National Dex. It's very relaxing compared to having to catch everyone. Cilantro evolves into Crobat, increasing our power even further before Gem 3. Route 215 is another long one, but it's the last stretch before Veilstone. Veilstone has clothes, which is huge. We need more customization in Pokemon. I am so excited for ZA, I literally can't contain myself. I buy some overalls because I can't afford the outfit I want, but we'll be back for that later. Veilstone Gym is another positive type matchup for us, so their trainers are not very difficult. I love the Karate Quad theme though, they give this place a lot of personality. The gym puzzle is also really great, especially when compared to Gardenia's. In the fight with Maylene, Franziska one-shots Meditite and Machoke, and even gets through 2 Hyper Potions on Lucario. I'm extremely impressed with her performance. After going down though, Matthew's ready to come in and put a wrap on the battle. After the gym, Lucas gets his Pokédex stolen and needs our help getting it back. But I decide to sleep on it and come back the next day to help. After helping Lucas, we get Fly, which lets us go back to Hearthome really quickly to let our Pokemon walk around with us. After that, it's another long stretch of routes to get to Pastoria. Everyone on Route 214 is a piece of cake for Franziska and Matthew, and then we arrive at the peaceful Valor Lakefront. There are many double battles here, which give us a ton of money, and a few rare encounters like Finneon and Lopunny. After a nice stroll on the beach, we've made it to Pastoria, and it's already time for our next gym battle. The pacing of this game is really quite strange. The gyms in story are kind of clustered together, with long stretches to wander and breathe in between. This gym really marks the debut of Larry, and he just crushes the whole gym. We start the fight with Crasher Wake, and look at this gorgeous backdrop. I wish the entire world looked like the battle backdrops do. It would have been incredible. We swap in our own Gyarados to counter Wake's Gyarados, then Larry one-shots Quagsire. Floatzel's a little scary, especially in the rain, but Double Intimidate buys us a few turns for Cilantro to close out the fight. I take some time to explore the Great Marsh afterward, catching a Hoothoot and an accidental Barrel. We have a fight with Barry afterwards, who still has a Starly and Buizel. Why? Anyway, Marina evolves into Staraptor, which gets us some really crazy fighting coverage. Then a Galactic Grunt claims that he's going to blow up the Great Marsh, so we chase him away. We find Cynthia, who gives us some medicine to allow us to pass through to Route 210. But first, we take the scenic route to get back to Hearthome, which gives us a good few encounters for the National Dex. Then we head back to the Psyducks to help them out. This route is full of Ace Trainers who always have rare Pokemon for us to see, like Raichu and Mothim. We arrive in Celestic Town, saving some ruins from Team Galactic yet again. Cynthia's grandmother gives us Surf, which is awesome. There's a little route off to the left too, but I don't find anything very useful there. Next up is Hearthome Gym, which is really scary because it has math. I actually have to get all of the problems wrong because one of these gym trainers is the only one with Drifloon in the game, but I didn't know which one. Otherwise, I would have needed to wait 5 days for Valley Windworks, which I just didn't feel like doing. For the fight with Fantina, we have Francisca and Cilantro, who are kind of custom tailored to beat her. Or they would be if Cilantro didn't flinch 3 times in a row. We have to default to Marina, but she's totally capable on her own. Now we have the ability to surf, so we head over to Canalave for that gym too. First, I need to buy that outfit I promised myself, and do some shopping for other miscellaneous things. In Canalave, we have yet another battle with Barry, who is still completely free. The gym actually poses a few problems though, because our only viable attackers are really Gyarados and Marina's close combat. Also, Lift finally evolves into Altaria. The trainers don't give us a lot of trouble, but Byron does. His Steelix knows Thunderfang, which annihilates Matthew and Larry. I need to rely on Marina's new U-turn to protect her while she gets off and Intimidate. Close combat finishes off Steelix, but Bastiodon lives because of Sturdy. He retaliates by KOing Marina and Francisca, leaving us without attackers, and we lose. I teach Altaria Flamethrower just so she has an attack that's a little more useful, then head back in. This time we have Francisca for Bronzor and some chip on Steelix, then use Lift to finish off Steelix. Lift starts setting up Cotton Guards against Bastiodon, which is risky because she gets crit through it instantly. Bastion has too many iron defenses up to go down to 1 close combat, but the Intimidates allow us to break through a few potions, allowing Matthew to come in for the win. We're having a meeting with the professor in the library when a huge bomb goes off that rocks the entire region. We make plans for everyone to go to the lakes, and we're assigned to Lake Valor. This lake has been totally decimated by the bomb, and we're introduced to Saturn in the lake chamber. He presents no challenge at all for Larry, but we're already too late to stop them from getting what they want. After this, we immediately need to go to Lake Verity to help out Lucas, who is defeated by Mars. At this point in the game, Frugly presents no challenge at all because of Marina's close combat. Our next assignment is to check out Lake Acuity, which is at the very northern tippy top of the region. We have to pass through Mount Coronet to get there, which means we need strength. I didn't realize, but it's at the top of the Lost Tower, meaning we have to really quickly get through a ton of level 15 Pokemon first. Mount Coronet is a very short stretch of cave, but it's followed by a very long stretch of snow route, made even longer by my desire to battle every trainer. On the way, we pick up Rock Climb and see lots of cool Pokemon like Seaking and Sneasel. We arrive in Snow Point, and our first order of business is challenging the gym. Larry can handle lots of Snovers and Sneasels in the gym, but it's still very difficult overall. Sinnoh has gyms for like all of the types that flying has issues with, which I totally wasn't thinking about going into it. This gym's puzzle is also one of the all-time greats. I absolutely love the snowball puzzle so much. Larry should have completely swept the fight with Candace, but somehow her Medicham was faster than him, landing a rock slide for the KO. The fight was otherwise alright, trading 1-for-1 with our Pokemon. We head back to Lake Acuity, where Barry has already lost. Jupiter doesn't even want to battle us. That makes me so angry that I decide to go to their headquarters and destroy them from the inside. We already created a weakness by humiliating the grunt in front of their building, who gives us access to their warehouse as a bribe for leaving them alone. The warehouse has a dust stone lying around, which lets us evolve Franziska into Honchkrow, finally. We make waves throughout the warehouse, blowing through all of their security guards until we find a key that will get us into the main building. We storm into HQ, demanding to talk to the manager. Many people try to stop us, but we're on a complete rampage. These teleporting pads don't ease my tension either. We confront the boss in his room, blowing through his 3 Pokemon with ease. He gives us a Master Ball as compensation, but blows me off to go do his own thing anyway. I go free some Pokemon he's taken as prisoner, but Saturn tries to stop me. I'm not sure what he thinks he'll accomplish when I already beat his boss, but whatever. We free the little fairies, and I decide that I still haven't had my retribution yet, so I chase them up Mount Coronet. After falling down this ledge 3 times because of bad controls, we make it to the snow-capped peak, and I decide to save the rest of this until tomorrow. And then I forgot to record Spear Pillar. But we saw Munchlax and beat up all the galactic leaders and captured this silly guy called Dialga. I also found a Wingull in the underground and caught that too. And that's pretty much all I did off camera. I then spent a lot of time hunting in Fountain Spring Cave for a Togepi. He's named Saffron and will provide a lot of utility in the endgame for us. He's going to take Cilantro's place on the team. I make a quick trip to the Pokemon Mansion to pick up the Soothe Bell for him too. We're basically in the endgame now. All that's left is 1 badge and the league. We head east of Lake Valor for Sunny Shore. Marina learns Brave Bird, which is a massive power upgrade for her. The trainers here also have Remoraid and Phoebus, who we need to see for the Pokedex. I also spent forever trying to catch this Chatot when well, just see for yourself. Oh, oops. Oh no. Oh well. What is she called? Oops. Anyway, Sunyshore is such a cool city. It really has the atmosphere that a city at the end of the game deserves. I go to the top of the lighthouse and get Volkner back to the gym. After, we head to the market and I buy so many dang seals that I spend the next 10 minutes working on the team. I love ball capsules and I really wish they'd bring them back. We head over to the gym, which has another good puzzle. This one is a little simple, but still good. Electric type is really scary for us in theory, but we have Larry to save us, thankfully. He recently learned Quiver Dance too, making him insurmountable for the average trainer. Volkner actually can put a stop to him though, forcing us to use Marina against Ambipom. Marina used close combat, but it surprises everyone with a Chople Berry, surviving it. Gyarados goes for a Dragon Dance against Octillery, barely taking a Charge Beam. She only does a little over half with one crunch, falling the next turn. Marina gets paralyzed by Raichu, spelling the end of this fight for us. Sinnoh really is a little difficult for flying types. In the second attempt, we lead with Marina and beat up Raichu without getting paralyzed. Larry beats Ambipom, setting up a Quiver Dance on Octillery and KOing them too. One final Bug Buzz KOs Luxray, proving that Larry really is unstoppable. With all 8 badges, Jasmine gives us Waterfall, letting us make it to the Pokemon League. It's a water route, making this a long journey. The water is absolutely gorgeous though. The crown of the route is Victory Road, and I really wish we could see how this landmass was shaped from other angles. It seems so abstract. Victory Road and the Elite Four have most of the Pokemon we need to see left, so this will be another long route. Marina carries us through most of the battles with her great coverage moveset. There's not much else to it other than gaining a ton of XP for our guys. I really wish Victory Road was more visually interesting in these games. Caves should have gorgeous biomes and other unique sceneries. By the end of the road, Saffron hasn't even evolved yet. To help remedy this, I head over to Iron Island. We'll need the Shiny Stone and the Riolu here anyway. We also go to Salacion Ruin to find an unknown, which I forgot to do earlier. We also need to see the lake spirits, so we visit Mesprit, then go to Lake Valor to catch Azelf. Surprisingly, the lake seems to be back to normal already. I catch Azelf on the second attempt. Having a dark type makes this very easy. This also gets Saffron to evolve finally, and then I immediately evolve him again into Togekiss. After that, we're off to catch Uxie. It takes no time at all. I go ahead and hatch Riolu too, which means we just need to get the team ready for the league. For some reason, they gave the Elite Four crazy movesets with really good held items and stats. It's so disjointed from the rest of the game, but it is fun. Barry is the first trainer up, but he's still no trouble. Our only Pokemon that faints is Marina, and that's to her own Brave Bird. First up of the Elite Four is Aaron. Larry sets up a lot of Quiver Dances and KOs everyone except Drapion because of the toxic poison. We need Franziska and Marina to KO Drapion, but he goes down. Bertha is kind of more of the same from Larry, but Golem has Sturdy to KO Larry. Marina finishes Golem, Franziska takes down Wishcash, and Matthew cleans up Hippowdon. We lead Lift into Flint to set up Cotton Guards, allowing her to beat Rapidash and Steelix. Marina KOs Lopunny and Drifblim, then it takes the entire team to beat one Infernape with Thunder Punch. Lucian, however, is a complete sweep for Larry. 5-0. Last up is Cynthia. Can she withstand the wrath of Larry? Well, no. all that's left for our Pokédex is viewing Palkia from a book. We show Professor Rowan when Professor Oak drops by to give us the national dex. Rowan gives us the Poké Radar, and with a combination of these tools, we can finally hunt for Sentret. First, we head to Romanus Park to get the Chain Counter app from Oak. This lets us keep track of how many Pokemon we currently have in the radar. Then, we go buy a massive amount of Quick Balls and Repels, which we need to perform the chain. Sentret is available to us on Route 202. Using the Poké Radar is quite simple as well. Once you find the species you want, capture it, and the chain will begin. The chain will always have a chance of breaking, but you can maximize your odds of continuing it by going to the furthest patch away and capturing it. You can see all the odds here on this chart from Cerebi. It's always 10% better to catch the Pokemon, so be sure to have plenty of balls. If, for whatever reason, less than 4 patches generate, just go walk around for a few steps to recharge the radar. Upon using the radar again, the patches will be regenerated. This doesn't break the chain, so no need to worry about that. The further in the chain you get, the higher your odds of getting a shiny Pokemon become. It's a gradual scale, increasing until you hit a 40 chain, where it maxes out at 1 in 99. These are absolutely insane odds, and once you get to a chain of 40, you can simply regenerate patches until you find a shiny patch. You'll know a shiny patch when you see one. It's pretty difficult to miss. The problem is getting to that 40 mark. Even with the maximum odds of continuation, you only have a 5% chance of a chain getting that far. So, how many chains did it take me to reach 40? 20 chains? 30 or 40 chains? Try one. That's right. A single chain was all it took for me to get to 40. This was actually my first time using the Poké Radar, so I was extremely surprised. I actually thought I did something wrong because I was regenerating patches for so long and I couldn't find a shiny. I counted, and it took 37 iterations, or 138 patches. Here we go, here we go, here we go! Oh, so cute! No, not yet! Yes! Oh, that was so easy! That was so quick too. I think I've only been doing the post game for like an hour. On the first chain too. This like makes up for double times like 1 billion. What will his name be? I typically name him Fanta, but that's because I have all time. But I can't evolve him for this. Diet? No. Yellow, yellow. Pineapple? I do like that. I like pineapple. We'll go with pineapple. Nope. I love this guy. I think he'll get a B tier. But once I got the first one, I knew it wasn't just about getting a Sentret. It was about how many I could get. Alright. No! No! It's over! Yes! That's right. We got 9 of them, and I even missed one. What a wild way to end BDSP. Our final stop of this journey will be in Pokemon Violet. It's been a long one, and I already have a save file for this game, so I'm gonna use that if you don't mind. I already have the Shiny Charm too. This was also my first time playing Violet on the Switch too. We've got 2 targets left to grab here, Comfey and Clodsire. Comfey comes from the coastal biome in Blueberry Academy, and Clodsire is available in many locations in Paldea. I figured that we'd stick to hunting for Wooper though, to showcase the power of shiny hunting on the Switch too. I spent my first little bit of time getting reacclimated to the game, gawking at things like the Artisan windmill that actually work now. I'm also completely blown away by just how many Pokemon there are in the world. There's no slowdown either. It's truly remarkable. The most fun way to hunt for shinies in this game is to do it with friends, in my opinion. I'll be joined by my friend Natalie from earlier. While I'm waiting for her, I do 2 things. Look for raids, and spend a teeny amount of time in Blueberry Academy hunting for Comfey. And by teeny, I mean microscopic. I'm only looking around for 10 minutes, and somehow, that's enough. Oh my god, you're kidding. You're kidding. There's no way. Yeah. Dude. How do you even... I didn't even have Urban Mystic on. How did this happen? This is, for the record, I've seen 43 Comfies, including those 2 that are wandering around in the background. Dude. What? Critical catch in the gun. I didn't have any boosts. I'm just totally stunned. I counted 45 encounters, and it's difficult to be accurate in this game, but that's definitely the right ballpark. I'm giving her an S tier, no questions. Once Natalie joins me, we spend around 4-ish hours doing raids. We're searching for a rare drop from tier 5 and 6 raids called Herba Mystica. I have hardly any, but it's the ticket to shiny hunting in Scarlet and Violet. By using 2 Herba Mystica in a sandwich, you'll get a meal power that boosts shiny rates for a given type by 3 rolls. With a shiny charm, this means we'll have a 6 in 4096 chance per encounter, or around 1 in 683. By adding other ingredients, you can also get the encounter power boost in the same sandwich. This skews the majority of the encounters towards being the given type, which gives you an extreme encounter rate with an extreme shiny rate for all of them. When you make the sandwich with a friend, you both get the effects too. For help making sandwiches, I suggest using this amazing sandwich calculator tool. I have it linked in the description below. After our initial raid session, we get one salty Herba Mystica and decide to take a break by hunting for some Woopers. Using some of our existing Herba Mystica, we create this beautiful poison type sandwich. We'll be hunting in the muddy area of South Province Area 5. We've got 30 minutes to find one, so we get to work auto-battling as many Woopers as we can. There's even a single Clodsire. After only 9 minutes of hunting, we find something. No way. Oh my god! Oh my god, I literally called it. Who wants to get it? Okay. This is the first bonus shiny I've gotten. Oh, it's so cute. Look at it. It literally wants attention. I can't believe I said it like 2 minutes ago and then... Finding a Croagunk was a little unexpected, but honestly very cool. Another 10 minutes in, and we find another shiny. No way. Is it a second Croagunk? Tell me it's another Croagunk. Where are you? What? Dude. That's so insane. Oh my goodness. Literally on the first sandwich. Oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah, it's like a lot brighter than I remember it. I do need to evolve this, but we could turn this into a how many can we get? I guess I could have tried to like back calculate how much time was left based on the amount of encounters I had. So that was the 201st Wooper that I've managed to count. What is Wooper's name? Girl. Blueberry. I love Blueberry. I'm so thrilled we got it on the first sandwich. That was only the 201st Wooper that I had counted too, but Natalie was seeing her own, so like I said, it's wildly inaccurate. What I really wasn't expecting though was another Croagunk. Oh my god. I didn't even see it. I did not even see it. If I run, will it disappear? I think it will. I would have let you have it, I'm sorry. We'll find another one. We'll find another one. It sucks that it spawned right on me. I wanted to give it to Natalie. I would have traded it to her, but she declined. I'd give Clodsire about a B tier. It all felt like it happened a little fast for the ending. So, I decided to hunt for a bonus shiny. In place of Iris's fighting spirit, I'm going to hunt for Axew. Right next to us is a big mountain with Axew and Bacon, so we head right over there to continue the fun. We go to make a sandwich, and, well, I accidentally didn't make it in before Natalie started it. We spend the next 30 minutes hunting her sandwich to a little bit of avail. What? Oh my goodness gracious, there's no way. How did that happen? Hold on, I wanted to see him, but yeah, you can check him. Wow. That is not what a Mudbray looks like, you'd be right. Oh, it sparkled! That little guy is so cute. I'm glad he showed up. Natalie got to capture him, of course. Otherwise, no shiny dragon types to be found. We're basically out of Herba Mystica again, so it's back to raiding. We get a bitter from a Chandelure and a spicy from a Porygon 2. And that was basically 4 hours of raiding. We get back to our little Axew Mesa when I happen across a Zekrom Natalie goads me into catching him, so... We make another sandwich, and I, forgot some ingredients. Salt. Mayonnaise, salt. I would not eat it. I don't like whole tomatoes. Tomatoes, mayonnaise, and salt? It just gets funnier the more you look at it. My face hurts. I've definitely made that kind of dinner before. Like, it's just like a man, like, whatever. Girl dinner. What do you mean 3 stars? Oh. We make another sandwich, and, well, an imbalance of flavors means we don't get encounter power. But I was having the time of my life, so it's all good. This one will make you feel like you're gonna win the lottery. The next day, I go to do more raids, but I'm on my own this time. I have to do the post-game gym rematches to unlock tier 6 raids, but I have to do tier 5s first. I get a spicy from my first one, Breloom, a sweet from a Raichu, and a salty from a Glalie, putting me at 3 for 3. I go to make a sandwich and hunt a ton of Axews on this cliff above Zapapico. There are so many, I can barely even count them. About 20 minutes in, I finally find it. Oh, there it is. It's much brighter than it is in other games. Oh, he's such a little cutie. I'm gonna try and catch him in a luxury ball. Here's the critical capture. Alright, Natalie, what would you call him? I was thinking Anvil. Anvil. We'll give Axew an A for how much effort I had to put into getting her. We finish out the sandwich, but there wasn't another one to be found. The total count I had for Axew scene was around 1600, so that's quite the bang to end this challenge on. As thanks for Natalie, I help her hunt Toadscruel later, which went really well. Oh. No. Oh yeah! Wait, I have a pretty good view of it. That's awesome. Oh, I found one. Natalie, 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 Natalie. Oh, it's for you, it's for you. I don't know. I'm chasing it. I think it's mine. Hell yeah. Thank you for joining me on this wild journey. I've been working on this project for 4 months, and it was a blast. I've always wanted to create small shards of myself so I can share what I love with other people. I've learned so much, and I'm filled with so much motivation to continue making things to share. I'll need a short break, but I'll be back before you know it. I'd like to take a few moments to thank those who helped make this possible. Firstly, thank you to Natalie for helping me to complete the Sword Pokédex and on the Violent Hunts. This project would have been so much more difficult without her, so I really can't thank her enough. Secondly, thank you to the friend who taught me so much about image manipulation. A lot of the assets I made for this project were only possible because of you. Also, thank you to all my friends who spent all those nights with me in Discord while I was writing and editing, encouraging me to keep pushing forward. And lastly, thank you, dear viewer, for enjoying something that I created. If this video improved your day, please share it with a friend. It might improve their day too.